Hello. Today I wanted to discuss whether it's even worth doing these ground-coupled heat exchangers because, it's a lot of money. These days nobody takes energy prices and installation costs lightly. Let's assume that we have relatively moist soil with an average moisture content, that we're working in sand, and that with this Glycol Ground coupled heat exchanger with pipes of 40 millimeters diameter at 300 meters, we can get 2 to 3 kilowatts of energy per hour. Let's calculate the material cost. 300 meters of pipes, 1,800 zloty. A very decent glycol heater cooler, 2,200, which makes 4,000 zloty. Two valves at 200 each makes 4,400. A check valve 100, which makes 4,500. Our relay makes it 4,600. If we add a separator, that's 700 zloty, so we have 5,200. We're calculating the worst case scenario. The pump say 300, that's 6,000. Let these two valves be 50 zloty each, so that makes 6,100. The safety valve, that's another 100. Let's round up, 6,200. Expansion vessel 200, which gives us 6,300. Earthworks say 2,000, so it's 8,000 zloty. That's for an exchanger that is high-end, very valuable, very expensive and truly sophisticated. Here we have materials worth 8,000 zloty for our ground-coupled heat exchanger. As I said, the soil is moist, so we can get as many as 3 kilowatts per hour. But let's assume conditions are unfavorable. We get 1 kilowatt per hour. The exchanger will usually work in the spring, summer, a bit of autumn, then winter. Say it works 180 days a year for 12 hours. A kilowatt hour will cost 1 zloty and 20 grossi. That's how much it'll be for a single family house. You'll see that when you calculate it based on your bill. So it's 12 times 12, say also 140. Is that right? No, sorry. 1 zloty 20 times 12 is about 15 zloty per day. Let's now multiply 15 by 180 days. This gives us around 2,700, 2,500. Based on these calculations, I assume that the exchanger will pay for itself in 3 years. Under moderately favorable conditions or even poor ones, since I'm not assuming 3 kilowatts per hour, I'm just assuming 1. With the energy price at 1 zloty 20, we need about 3 years for the return. Is that a long time? Is it worth it? You have to decide for yourselves. I assume that at such an exchanger with such a system, the coolers, the copper will last about 20 years. The pipes in the ground, well, I don't know how long they will last, but for water they are installed for 10 to 15 years. I think they will also last 20 years. So we have some return. If the EU now requires us to calculate, for example, the carbon footprints of some products or that we pay for CO2 emissions, when using gas for heating, it may turn out that in 2 years a kilowatt will cost 2 zloty, 250. I would take the risk and try to do something like this. If you have the conditions, moist soil or sand, it doesn't cost a fortune. I think it will pay for itself in 3 or 4 years. In the worst case scenario, assuming not 3 kilowatts per hour, but 1, and assuming that the exchanger will work on average 12 hours a day for 180 days, 6 months. So we need 3-4 years. But it has to be your decision, because it may be better to install a recuperative exchanger, a tubular one, and so on. There are many different possibilities. The only advantage of these glycol-based active exchanges, which are quite fancy, is the simple matter of hygiene. You don't need to clean them. You just clean the cooler. You can rinse it with denatured alcohol, spirit, tato, any disinfectant, and it will be fine. And with the others, the pipes go in the ground, there's humidity, there are various environmental conditions, and then we draw in that air. But as I say, when it comes to energy efficiency, as long as they are done well, those ones are better. They're between 30 and 60% better. We can get more. If we get, say, 3 kilowatts from this, then with a recuperative system with roughly the same material cost, we can get, say, 4 kilowatts, 4.5. It is just about hygiene. This is easy to clean, easy to repair. You can do everything with it, but it's your decision which one you want and whether it is worthwhile for you. Woo! You are the ones making the decision here. There are different companies, and my solution might not be perfect. Maybe it's average, or maybe it's Southwest one among those three. You have to know for yourselves. You have to suggest to the expert what is good for you, and you have to choose it. No expert can force this on you. I also can't force my ideas on you. You make the decision.